Good morning, guys, or afternoon, whenever you guys are watching this. Um, I am feeling loads better this week, and been online pretty much the whole time anyway, but am completely around to answer some questions. Unfortunately, at our typical meetup time, I do have another appointment that I have to get to, so that's why I'm not able to live chat with you guys today. Which actually works out okay because your assignment for today is workbook pages. Okay? So we'll chat about that in a minute. I kind of want to go over what we did last week for those of you guys who either have been working on it or who have not yet started it. I sent out emails today to anybody who did not complete and turn in Thursday assignments, which was the thinking critically questions. Those come at the end of the ancient Greece story. So if you guys are looking for those are there. The next one, I sent out an email if you didn't complete Fridays, which was a graphic organizer. Okay? If you are confused on any of these assignments, I'm expecting you guys to reach out to me through email or some sort of question like that. These are not meant to be difficult assignments. The graphic organizer one does require that you guys, think about it and really put a little bit more effort in it because I'm not specifically saying create a KWL chart, put this info in, okay? Which I know a lot of you guys are used to, but you guys are 6th graders now. You're totally capable of actually coming up with the info, thinking critically, deciding what you're going to put in there, and then actually doing that, okay? So at this point, we're not going to baby step you through the whole process of putting 1, 2, whatever, each into a graphic organizer. That's up to you guys. But I think if you were to ask any of the people who actually kind of read through it a few times, completed that, it's not a difficult task. It just does require you guys to actually think a little bit more and use the skills that we've been working on this year. Okay? But if you still have questions, even after that, please reach out. Don't just not do it. Another thing is every single day that you guys have class, so Monday through Friday, the expectation is that you are completing 15 minutes of IXL, at least. Not math, not science, not history. Maybe you guys have to do that for those classes, okay? But what shows up on my chart is when you guys have completed work that day for English, okay? So any of the start assignments that we've been doing all year, okay, that if you guys are still saying you don't know how to get into IXL, is a little bit ridiculous because we've been doing it since September, okay? If you forget your password or your username, okay, reach out. We really should have that down by now, but that's not remembering it. It's not an excuse to not go on, okay? And if you go on and you do math work, that's not going to show me, or that does not count, okay? Same thing for if you go on and just sit there. I can see how many questions and things that you're actually completing. You can't just open up the page and have it sit there for 15 minutes. You have to actually complete the tasks. Part of this remote learning is we need to do things like this. And I know that that's not as fun, and it's not what we're used to, but we need to have a way to assess you guys and see what you guys are doing and have you guys practice some of these skills without giving you so much book work and things like that, okay? Because those are big assignments that take time and that are hard to track down. IXL is easy for you guys to do because you know how to do it, you've done it before, and it reports straight back to us as teachers, okay? So that's not an optional thing. That's not if you feel like it, go on. That is, you're doing that. Same thing with the reading 20 minutes every day. The expectation is that you are reading every single day. Okay? In terms of some of this work, if anything, if you guys got an email and you've already done an assignment, that might be because you didn't turn it in Google Classroom. That's fine. You don't have to tell me about it. I'm not worried about it. Maybe you shared it with me in a Google Doc and commented on it. That's fine. But you need to physically go turn in on Google Classroom that assignment, because when I am going through and trying to figure out who's done things and who hasn't, it allows me to send an email home to every single person who hasn't turned it in, and I am not going to sift through and try to figure out, oh, this person shared it with me on Google Docs, but they didn't put it here, okay? Because my expectation is that you are putting the assignment in with the assignment, okay? On Google Classroom for like Thursday, there's a button where you could attach a page. So maybe you did your workbook pages in your actual workbook, take pictures of them, attach them to that assignment, and post it there. Okay, and turn it in. That will show me that you did the work. I can take a look at it, read through it, and my chart is showing that you completed the work. Okay? For today's work, for what you guys are doing, you guys have 3 workbook pages that are about graphic sources. Okay? So they ask you, like we've done in the past for other assignments, to be looking at the story, to understand things like maps, graphic organizer, or graphic sources. Okay, these are things we've done before. So if you have questions, that's okay. Or if you need to read things over multiple times and spend a little extra time on it, again, this is supposed to be like a ClassWorks amount of work, the whole class plus the IXL and all that. Okay, so the goal is not for these to take a minute and then be done and move on. You guys have a class worth of work to be completing during the day. Typically, it's not going to be that whole time, okay? I would expect that you guys could get this done in a half an hour instead of the hour that we typically have, okay? So that's great for you guys. Might take some of you guys a little longer, might take some of you guys a little shorter, okay? But what we need to stop doing is not attempting it when you either don't feel like doing it or it gets a little bit more difficult, okay? Same thing with questions. I'm always happy to answer any questions you guys have, but you need to read the directions and go through all of your resources before you come and ask me a question, okay? So really attempt it. If I was going to try to do something and I was having a little bit of trouble or didn't understand, I would read it 3, 4, 5 times, attempt it, and if I still didn't figure it out, that's when I would reach out, okay? So I don't want you guys to get frustrated and do a ton of work before, reaching out to me, because I am here. But I don't want you to immediately reach out to a teacher without reading directions or attempting something first, because that doesn't work on some of your self-sufficiency and all of those skills that we've been kind of trying to push on you this year. Okay, so you have those 3 workbook pages. They're about graphic sources. They're relating to the ancient Greece story. Ancient Greece is what we're doing for the rest of this week. So these are mostly like workbook pages days. Again, you guys got the packet before we even left. And all of this is posted on Google Classroom. So you guys could be going ahead. That's fine. What you shouldn't be doing is getting behind. Okay, yeah, I'll still accept some work this week if you didn't complete it yet. But don't plan on doing all of your work on the Friday, because at that point, if you still haven't done Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's assignments and you start reaching out to me, it's not going to be as helpful, and I'm not going to be as willing to spend a lot of time on it with you guys if you guys aren't keeping up with what you're supposed to be doing. Obviously, there's different excuses and reasons why people might not be doing things, and I'm flexible for that. But if you've been sitting at home twiddling your thumbs, not getting work done, that won't fly as much, okay? In terms of what you guys have left to get done, you guys have those pages. If you did not receive the packet, which it seems like a lot of people haven't, to get home, that's fine, okay? I keep having kids comment on posts like, I didn't get the packet, which is annoying, okay? So I sent home the packet beforehand. Some people were absent. But if you're commenting on any of my Google Classroom stuff or any of those resources or emailing me, you have access to internet or to something that allows you to see that. Every single thing in that packet is posted on Google Classroom. So not having the packet is not an excuse to not get this work done, okay? Some of you guys might like to do it better on paper, okay, but we're kind of working in different times now, and you have to be flexible to getting work done in different ways. You guys are always welcome to write the answers down on paper, take a picture, and submit it that way. I don't really care, as long as you get the work to me. But I'm not taking the whole point of me sending the packet home the Friday before we even left school was, okay, this will prevent students from having excuses for why they don't have it. Despite constantly making sure that you guys were going to bring home that work, some of you still didn't, okay? So that's on you. And some of you guys were absent, okay? Which is fine, that happens, but it's on Google Classroom. So we're not waiting 3 weeks to get this packet that's going home and saying you can't get anything done until then. If you really need to make an attempt, do the work online. I know you guys have the ability to use technology in terms of knowing how to do it, okay? Most of you guys are way better than us adults at getting this kind of stuff done. So when you guys say you don't know how to get to something, we kind of are like, I don't know about that. Seems a little fishy. This week we'll be doing workbook pages, some of those things. Next week we are starting Hatchet. So we're going to do an excerpt from Hatchet, similar type setup that we're going to be discussing with some of the other 6th grade teachers today, kind of figuring out what we're going to do exactly for that. But we really need to get more participation and kids coming on regularly for that to work. Okay, so while a lot of our meetups and things like that are optional, getting the work done, watching videos, doing those things are not. Okay, so going forward, you need to create a schedule. If you guys did not see that schedule that I shared, I put it through the Stanford 1920, and I tried to email it to as many of your parents as I could. At least one parent from Infinite Campus, or one email that was in there I emailed to. But either way, it's in your Stanford 1920. And for those of you guys struggling with how to set up your day and your schedule, the thought would be that every day you can go into that document. Each of you have a different one. Edit it, put the date, put down whether you have an IXL or Alex work to get done, whether you have a Google Hangouts meet, what your actual work for that day is. Okay? If you are struggling with this whole transition and you don't know when you're supposed to be online and you don't know what you have to do, I would expect you would try something different, because when something's not working, we don't just sit around and kind of throw our hands up in the air. We need to find a way to make it work. So for a lot of you guys, organization in that chart is something you should be attempting to use if you still have not figured out this whole, online learning piece. Okay, it's an adjustment for everyone, and we know that it's not easy for you guys, but we're also expecting you guys to try to figure out a system for yourselves. Okay, so if you haven't seen that, go into the Stanford 1920 and scroll down and find it. It's just a Google Doc assigned to each of you, and kind of work through some of that. I am online today, tomorrow, all week. Okay, I'm around, just because I'm not always doing the live meetups that, I know we kind of check in. I'm usually in the morning one, but just because I'm not able to have class this afternoon and a little bit last week because I was sick, doesn't mean that I'm not here. I'm constantly online. I'm on my computer all day long, ready to answer any questions that you guys might have. Okay, so reach out if you have a question through email, Google Classroom, Hangouts, any sort of thing, and we'll walk you through some of the issues you guys might be having. Okay? Have a good Monday. Do something fun with your time, your free time if you have any. Try to get out in a yard or get a little bit of fresh air as long as you're staying away from people. And I will talk to you guys later. Okay? Bye-bye.